Hi, welcome to the video tutorial of the PKS integration in vRA 7.5. The first thing we're gonna do is create a PKS endpoint. We are in the Containers tab, we go to PKS endpoints, we select New Endpoint, we provide a name for our PKS endpoint. Also the UAA address. We select the credentials that we have pre-created. And also the PKS API address. We test the connection to make sure that the certificates are valid of both addresses, which also verifies the credentials. We get a message that the connection is successful, and we can actually click Create, which is going to create the endpoint. If we examine our new endpoint, we'll see three tabs. The General tab, which allows changing the main properties of the endpoint. If we go to Clusters, we will see a list of the currently available Kubernetes clusters on the PKS instance. We see properties like name, host name, master IPs, number of workers, the plan through which the cluster was created, and also if it's currently registered in vRA or not. If we go to plan assignments, we can actually set up the governance for this PKS endpoint. So basically here we allow certain endpoints and their plans for specific business groups. So currently I will allow the plan 1 plan of this endpoint for the development business group, and for quality engineering I will allow large and multi-master, which basically means that they will be able to request clusters through these allowed plans. I save my changes. The next thing I will do is actually add an already existing PKS cluster to the development business group. As you can see currently, I'm in the context of the development business group, which is selected at the upper left corner of the UI. I click Add Cluster, select the endpoint of which I want to add the cluster. I get the list of clusters again. I select the one that I want to add to the development business group. I select Connect by hostname, click Add. And the cluster is now added to development business group for consumption. If I switch to quality engineering, you see that there are no clusters there. I can examine the cluster. I can see its address, its current status, which is on. I can examine the nodes of the cluster. As you can see, there are 5 nodes. The total memory consumed by the cluster. Now I will log out and log back in as Scott, the developer. Scott obviously has a more limited view of the Containers tab as opposed to Jason. If I go to PKS clusters, and of course I'm part of the development business group only, so it's currently selected, I will see actually the PKS cluster that was added for me by Jason, and I can see its details, for example, but I cannot remove or destroy it obviously because this is the responsibility of Jason. Again, I can see the details of the cluster. And I can actually provision an application on it. So I go to repositories. I will search for Nginx, for example. I'll just pick the first one, click provision. At this point, I can provide some details like the application name, the port bindings, number of replicas, environment variables, and so on. But if I just click provision, the application will actually be provisioned on the already existing cluster, which is reflected in the progress bar to the right, and it's already provisioned actually. If I go to deployments, I see my applications as well as in pods. I can examine the details of the pod and the deployment that I just provisioned. Next, I'll request a new cluster for my business group. I select new cluster, select the PKS endpoint that was assigned to my business group from JSON, provide a cluster name, and also select the plan, which was again assigned to me by JSON. I provide the host name of the master. Optionally, I can provide the port, number of worker nodes, and how vRA is going to try to connect to the new cluster when it's deployed. At this point, I can just create the cluster by clicking create. And I can already see a representation of the currently provisioned cluster. As you can see, the status is provisioning, meaning that it takes a while for these clusters to get created by PKS. So vRA is going to automatically refresh the status when this process is done. As you can see, it's already provisioned. The status is on. We can already see all the details of my new cluster. I can download the kubeconfig of my new cluster and start interacting with it. I'm saving the config file to the .cube directory in my home folder. And at this point, kubectl is going to just pick it up. So I will type, for example, kubectl get deployments, and this is going to show me the deployments on my new cluster. As you can see, the Nginx deployment that I just deployed a few minutes ago is already visible here. And I can, of course, do whatever I need on this cluster now. Also, we see that the dashboard is installed, the Kubernetes dashboard. This is automatically discovered by vRA. And if I click on the link, this is going to automatically send me to the dashboard login screen. Depending on how the dashboard is configured, I might have to log in with user and password. Currently, basic authentication is not configured, so I need to log in with the token, either with the kubeconfig file or by copy-pasting the token from the kubeconfig. I will just select my kubeconfig and sign in. And this is the dashboard now of my cluster. I can also remove or destroy my new cluster, which is something that I cannot do on clusters added by JSON. So destroying the cluster will actually delete the cluster on PKS. Removing it will just remove it from vRA and keep it on PKS for later usage, for example. This operation is going to take a while. And as you can see, the request is already in my request view. That's all. Thanks for watching this demo.